Welcome to another edition of the Sam's Wrestling Show. Today I'm here to discuss the results from the WWE Draft and give you my thoughts on what should happen to these draftees. We started the show with John Cena moving to SmackDown. I'm not gonna say anything about this because I thought it was a complete waste to have John Cena be drafted to SmackDown then back to Raw. They could have used it. They could have drafted The Undertaker to Raw instead and kept John Cena on SmackDown, because I'm really sick of John Cena. Second draftee was Rey Mysterio to Raw, and I think this will be interesting to see because obviously Rey and Cody's feud will be ending this Sunday at Extreme Rules. So it'll be interesting to see what Rey Mysterio does on Raw. I would assume he's gonna feud with mid-card talent on Raw. And possibly Raw needs a mid-card title, so he could feud over either the US or Intercontinental title. One of those should move to Raw. Third, we had Randy Orton making the move to Friday Night SmackDown. And I thought this was a great move to move Orton to SmackDown because SmackDown is in dire need of a top face on this show, with Edge recently announcing his retirement from WWE, and I assume he will be a main event star on SmackDown, and his feud with CM Punk will end this Sunday as well. Next we had Mark Henry moving to SmackDown, and what I thought was very shocking was the fact that he turned on Christian and John Cena in the main event for the final draft pick. That was a shocking heel turn for me. And I think Mark Henry works much better as a heel than he did as a face, because as a face he just makes him look ridiculous. But now he should be taken seriously again as the world's strongest man. So he might be a main event superstar, or he could also put young superstars over. So that was a decent move for Mark Henry. Next we had Sin Cara move to SmackDown, and this upset me a little bit because I'm going to a Raw World Tour event in Syracuse in June, and I was looking forward to seeing Sin Cara wrestle, but they moved into SmackDown, so I won't get to, but I think it's a good move for him, because I guess he does botch a lot of moves. He's been botching moves lately, and SmackDown is a pre-taped show, so they can edit out the botches in his matches. So for now, I think that's a good move for him. I think he could get a push like Rey Mysterio did, where he slowly moves up the card into a main event spot and wins the world title. I think he could do the same thing on SmackDown. Next we had Big Show moving to Raw. Now I'm kind of on the fence about this, because Big Show, he could be a main eventer, but I don't see that happening because him and Kane are still the tag team champions. Unless tonight on SmackDown they lose the titles to the Corrs, Justin Gabriel, and Heath Slater. So we'll have to see tonight. I'd also see him feuding with some mid-card wrestlers and putting them over as well. So next we have Alberto Del Rio moving to Raw. Now, this was not a very good move on WWE's part because Alberto Del Rio has a World Heavyweight Championship match with Christian this Sunday for the vacant world title that Edge relinquished. And if they originally planned this draft to be in June, so Del Rio was gonna win the world title, and then move to Raw, but I guess now it seems more likely that Christian will win the world title. So I'm hoping that Del Rio does not get pushed down the ladder. I'm hoping he stays a main eventer on Raw. And he could be another top heel on Monday Night Raw. Especially since CM Punk is thinking of leaving the company in the next month or so and taking a break. So Raw will need a top heel. And Alberto Del Rio could provide that for them. Next we had Daniel Bryan. The first pick in the supplemental draft was Daniel Bryan moving to SmackDown. Now, this is a pretty good move as well, because I think Daniel Bryan is more suited on Friday Night SmackDown, and he can possibly win the Intercontinental title from Wade Barrett, or get a push like Sin Cara will eventually up to the world title. But I don't know if Daniel Bryan will win the world title. But he could always win mid-card title. So I think that's what they're going to do with him. Put him in matches for the mid-card championship. So that was a good draft pick. Next we have the Great Khali moving to SmackDown. Now, this doesn't really matter to me because Khali cannot wrestle. Khali is just a horrible wrestler, and hopefully they don't even use him. They might as well release Khali because he's just horrible in the ring. So that draft pick didn't really matter at all. I see him just being put into random matches with mid-carders on SmackDown. Maybe once in a great while, have a feud with a mid-carder. But that's about it for Khali. Next we had Jimmy Uso being drafted from Raw to SmackDown. Now, I think this is a good move for Jimmy, because the Usos have not been used since, what was it, December or January they haven't been used. I think they really should be used a lot more. And also, Jey Uso was moved to SmackDown as well. So hopefully they can start building up their tag team again and eventually win the tag team titles. So that's what I see for the Usos moving to SmackDown. Next we had Kelly moving to Raw. Maybe what I'd like to see from Kelly is that her finally winning the Divas Championship, because I think Kelly has improved a lot in the ring. Since 2007, she has improved greatly in the ring, and she deserves a Divas Championship reign. So I'm hoping Kelly feuds with the Divas champion, Brie Bella. So be sure to subscribe to Nexus Fan 123. This is only part 1 of 2. So be sure to watch part 2 of my WWE Draft review and thoughts. And also, leave your comments in the comment section below and add me on Facebook. That's facebook.com, or like my page on Facebook, facebook.com/NexusFan123.